All right, Ron, it looks like we clicked live here now. So I'd like to welcome everyone to the weekly construction meeting for the September 15th here. This is our 22nd weekly meeting. And I guess as been the format, I'll let Larry here, the project superintendent, give us our update from Meyer's standpoint as far as the schedule, and then can go and give some updates and give my general overview, I guess, as I do every week. So with that, if you would, Larry, just give us the outlook if you could.
Thanks, Corey. We're still continuing on the center mediums on the concrete work, and once that gets done today, we're going to continue on with the tiebacks and the driveways and the sidewalks on the north side. Traffic's going to get switched over from the outside lanes to the inside lanes tomorrow morning, so we can continue the concrete work on the outsides. Going to do the milling. The milling's done on the north end. The overlay is going to start tomorrow and Thursday on the blacktop, and then the black trees and stuff are going to be coming in next Monday. Start working the topsoil and stuff on the south side, working to the north side. So things will start looking pretty good here in the next week and a half.
Larry, with the traffic being switched over to the inside lanes, will all for northbound traffic on 61, will the left turn lane will be available to turn left at every intersection then?
Yes.
Okay. What about southbound traffic? If I'm southbound on 61, where will I be able to make left turns?
For right now, it'll still be on Fulton, and then
at the signal at Fulton.
Signal. And then the signal will be switched over tomorrow
to Franklin.
Yep. And then we'll have to pour the concrete in Fulton to switch off. And then as soon as they get something else ready, we'll keep blacktop on our way down. As soon as they get something with the concrete poured, we'll blacktop right behind you.
Okay. And with that switch over to the center lanes, it doesn't change anything at Broad Street. It'll still be a full open intersection with all movements available.
Correct.
At Broad.
Yep.
Okay. So northbound, we're really still, the left turns will be at where the signal is.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, the little update on that, Jay. So the intent with the traffic shift tomorrow will be shifted into the inside lanes, but as far as an access standpoint, there won't be any revisions immediately tomorrow. The most immediate revision will be, as Larry mentioned, the shift from Fulton to Franklin. But that will take place with the temporary signal still in place. The temporary signal, there was some discussion last week about when that would be phased out, and that's going to stay in effect until Old West Main is active. It's important to have that signal, that temporary signal for the left turn movements and the crossing movements. Without that signal at Old West Main, we're concerned there wouldn't be enough gap for those vehicles to I guess, get across or turn across the through lanes there. The shifting to the inside is critical to get the Old West Main signal work done. With that shift tomorrow, the contractor's hopeful that we could have Old West Main active as of Monday. Again, that's there's some that's not 100% guarantee, just depending on how all things come together, but that is the hopeful schedule. So with the shift tomorrow, that closes the outside lanes, allows them to finish installing that signal at Old West Main, and then the hope would be Old West Main would then be full open on Monday. Be very likely that Old West Main won't be paved, but it'd still be a temporary surface just like it is now, but there'd be that left turn development there, and then there'd be the stoppage of the through traffic for the movements on Old West Main, which would give a gap for then these free left turns from that center left turn lane, which is ultimately what the full corridor will be. And so then next week you can expect then towards the later end of next week that temporary signal would be removed fully, and then it'd be free movements from that left turn lane where they're available. Obviously, the north side is going to take a little work there to get pieced together. Franklin's going to be that first intersection that will be back open. The curb was poured there yesterday, and the paving is scheduled to be hopefully maybe completed there tomorrow. So Franklin will be back open. It'll just be the base lift of pavement, but at least it'll be a paved intersection back open on the north side. All the other intersections will take place as they're able, but there's no curb on any of the other ones. So that will be one of the first focuses of work, once we get this outside lane closure on the north side, is to start to bring all these north side, driveways and intersection back to at least the concrete work completed, and then we can do the paving work. So still be directed turning movement, left turns at Franklin until next week, at a minimum. And then, I think just other updates, the overlaying, that will take place very similar to the milling. They're going to do the base lift tomorrow, so there's the first 1.5-inch lift. It'll happen just like the MnDOT project. They'll pave one side, traffic will be on the other, then they'll flip, vice versa. So they're going to do the base lift tomorrow, and then on Thursday would be the wear lift and the shouldering lift. And that again would happen the same way. It'll just be temporary lane shifts there as they're completing that paving work.
And this is in the area just west
Just
of
with
Old
the
West Main.
bituminous surfacing, yep, just west of Old West Main, so just in that grooved pavement portion right now. As of tomorrow morning, traffic will be on the inside on the concrete portion, but then there'll be some inside-outside switching back and forth for that overlaying work. But then once that's completed, then all that paving work is done, and just a little inconvenience there with the striping after that. But then from west, so hopefully next week, Old West Main West is all done from a construction impact standpoint. And then, as Larry mentioned, we're going to still look at an outside lane closure both directions, even though southbound is farther along than northbound. I think we're going to still close that outside lane to let this landscaping work start to come into play as well. As Larry mentioned, the topsoiling, and it's a lot of tree shrubs and tree plantings there at Old West Main along that new retaining wall. There's a lot of work there that an outside lane closure allows them to start getting that work, brought to completion. So.
With that outside lane closure being put in place tomorrow, Larry, I asked about northbound traffic being able to turn left. Those lefts would be available just at the intersections, and you'll close to work block to block. Is that the idea? I mean, I wouldn't be able to get into that left turn lane and turn left into the Quick Trip driveway. I'd have to go to the intersection and access Quick Trip from the intersection, correct? Because you'll still be, even though north side is all the driveway approaches are poured, you'll still be working in the boulevard areas, whether it's setting light poles or black dirt or killing weeds to start with the sodding. That's the type of work you're talking about with that closure.
That's correct.
No, and I think it's a fair thing to say that there's going to be strategy in placing a barrel. So I don't think a barrel is going to be deliberately placed in the center of the Quick Trip driveway, but there will be a construction influence there, I guess, is the important thing. We're not quite to that point yet where there's not going to still be orange cones and work taking place. There might be a period of time where Quick Trip has a temporary blockage there, depending on what work is going on right there. And so we're just not quite there yet where everything is guaranteed to be open at all times, but we're nearing that. And so hopefully in one more week we can say that on the south side, and then the north side hopefully a couple weeks after that. But it's still an influence, but access is gaining every week. We're gaining more and more, and
just wanted to be clear that there'll be times when you're doing those work on the north side, even where the driveway may be closed, even though it looks like it should be open because the pavement's poured there, the concrete's poured there, but there's still work going on. So
right.
Yeah.
So Corey, Thursday of this week and all day and possibly Friday morning, Levy Road will be closed because of work being done at Red Wing Grain. Will Old West Main still be right in, right out Thursday and Friday? It won't be shut down to work on that yet, will it?
No, I don't believe so. I think the plan is to pour maybe curb on Old West Main tomorrow. Josh, I think the plan is to pour curb on Old West Main tomorrow, which actually will time out relatively well, and being that Old West Main won't have a lot of traffic or construction activity on Thursday.
Okay.
So that is the plan, is to Old West Main will still be right in, right out. We're actually expecting that to be the case the rest of this time, even during the paving. I think we, pave under traffic, or like we indicated, a very short closure there. But even that, I think we would try to keep traffic routing through it. So the concrete work tomorrow will be done under traffic. Really, Old West Main's right in, right out until early next week, where maybe we're full open then. From a 61 standpoint, and then like I said again, Old West Main would still be open for that paving work as well. So Need some curing time on Old West Main curb. Will be the delay for the pavement Old West Main. We also have some logistics with Ace Hardware's driveway. We're trying to time that accordingly with his deliveries, and so paving won't be able to happen until that driveway is restored as well. So looking at Old West Main curb tomorrow. Be a little lack of activity until early next week. We're going to start his driveway right away Monday, Ace's driveway. Once we get cure time on that stretch of curb, then we could be looking at getting that pavement in there on Old West Main. So that'll be at least tail end of next week at the earliest, but it'll still always be open. It's just going to be gravel.
Do we want to, I've noticed too that there are detour signs that say detour for Old West Main go down to Levy. Should those be pulled or bagged or something?
We were, Josh was going to go through the work zone and see which sign should be bagged.
And I was wondering with the
temporarily
11-foot lanes
bagged or
maybe
covered.
too now could be taken off? Or do you want to keep those 11-foot lanes still on there? Because, I mean, we have gone to wider lanes now than what we were for a while.
I'd feel more comfortable keeping them at this point because there is movement when you're doing work that I'd just as soon say that we're narrower. If it's wider, it's great, but there's times when they'll need to move barrels out to do something. Larry, would you agree?
I agree.
Keeping the 11-foot lane markings there, I think, is a good idea because it can change dynamically during the day and during the work.
Okay. Yeah,
that's
then it would
going
pay
on.
just to drive through and check all the detour signs,
Yep.
see if some of them can be pulled or bagged so we don't have so much confusion.
So we'll check those Levy Road ones. Yep. And the work that Ron is referring to on Levy Road, Red Wing Grain put in new grain dryer, and they need their gas service put in place. And this was a good week for them to get that done because their truck traffic is, their semi-truck traffic is much lower right now. The harvest is going to come in. They need to get that done, so we're working with them to get in there, get their gas main connected, and then get that open back up again. So. Larry, what's the, I didn't notice, what's the update on the sidewalk at the YMCA, or if, when would they be in working on that?
I have to talk to the concrete guys.
Okay, because it looks like the curb has been poured now, correct?
Yep.
And,
Sounds like Doyle's sidewalk crew or basically Doyle's ADA crew is going to be coming in tomorrow. If not tomorrow, it'd be Thursday. And I'll have to touch base with them to see.
Okay.
I mean, we could make that broad be a focal point where they could also start there, So I'll put that bug in their ear once they get out.
yeah, I noticed the curb is in, so now it's looking better there as we're getting closer to getting that
Yep.
head crossing back open. So, any update on the signals? You said the signal system in Old West Egan is working on getting those poles put up, and I noticed one of them's up there.
I talked to Egan before this meeting to be able to have a little insight into that work, and so as I said, the lane shift tomorrow to the inner lanes is huge from a signal standpoint. Once that's completed, that'll allow them to complete the installation of the Hawk, that other Hawk signal pole it'd be for southbound. That would take place this week as well as the Old West Main installation. Those will be the two focuses of this week from a signal standpoint. And then once Old West Main is up, it allows them to remove the temp signals at Franklin and Fulton. And then likewise next week will be the final revisions at Broad Street, adding that protected left and getting that configuration set for its permanent condition. So we're looking at here about 2 weeks of pretty extensive signal work, but at which time that'll pretty much wrap up stage one from a signal standpoint. And then really from an electrical standpoint, it's just then the remaining street lighting. So we're looking at next week, being at end of next week at a position of having all three signal systems active for their end of stage one configuration, which is really the ultimate configuration. There'll be some revisions required at Broad Street next year with the continuation of the project to the east there into the downtown, but Old West Main and the Hawk would stay unrevised. But at least through the off season here, all three of those signals will operate as they are expected to in the permanent state.
So. Ron, do you have anything else to add?
Well, for Jeff, maybe for the MnDOT portions outside, they still have to come in and do the striping yet on the south end. Okay. Do you have any idea when that'll be?
I'm assuming they want to do it when they do it downtown.
Oh, is it the same contractor we've got?
I think that,
Oh, okay.
so I think that their plan is to come in and do everything at once.
Okay.
Is it Warning Lights?
Yeah.
It is that. It is the same contractor.
Okay.
then.
They haven't stated that specifically, but I'm assuming that we're so close to the downtown now that they just probably want to come in all the time, so.
So Jeff has said the final striping on the MnDOT overlay project will probably coincide with when we're doing the striping downtown. So, Jeff, you should be up here, and then we could. I know you. Yeah. So, what about utility-wise, Jerry? Should I mention anything other than the back? Okay. Utility-wise, everything is passed and everything's on and back to normal. We do have some patching to do on down on Jackson and Levy, and I did get a call on that this morning with boat hauling started at the Stelter Marina there. His driveway's been washing out, so we'll need to, as long as we've got Monarch in paving, we want to get those patches done on Jackson and then on his driveway here this week.
Wednesday to do that.
Okay, saw those out and get those patched. We don't need the tent main down there anymore. Jerry, did you have one other thing?
May see some work being done in preparation for next year, working some valve, possibly that's like that, stuff coming up.
Okay,
Not real close here, but at some point in time this fall.
okay. Jerry said there may see some work in the downtown core, testing valves, doing smoke testing in preparation for next year's portion of the project. So that'll be our crews out there working valves and just getting ready for next year and try to be ahead of the game here, knowing which valves work and where we might need to cut in some valves to get the isolation we need to do the water main work next year. So.
I guess I should mention one other thing, because a couple of our councilmen have mentioned it to me that they've been getting calls on, is that right turn lane for the state project, again, out at Bench Street for southbound traffic on 61. People are wondering if that lane is going to be put in the way it was prior to the overlay project, and it will be put in that way. MnDOT will do that with their own crews because it was striped according to their old plan prior to that lane being extended in the past. So we've gotten some calls from people saying that they've been backed up beyond that lane and can't get into the lane at the signal there with the red lights. So MnDOT will be getting to that. They'll be sandblasting that white line off and striping that turn lane this fall yet, right? Yeah. Yes, this fall. So I just want to mention that for people on TV if they're thinking of calling a council member or us. It will be done.
Josh or Corey, anything to add more? Larry? How about any questions from anyone regarding the project here and where we're at? Okay, well, thank you for coming.